will light this candle and it will represent the Ham community. We will then ask the different ones in of our group to come forward and pick up one of the names here on these scrolls of silent keys for this past year. And we have 10 silent keys, more than we've ever had as a group. And we want you, as you sit around, if you have comments that you'd like to make about those particular people, and we'd like for this to go for about 15 minutes, please come forward to this area here. We'll reserve this seat here for you to sit down and let's just discuss for a couple of minutes those people we've lost. Any other suggestions on how we should do this? This is project in progress. We want to remember these people, and it was started by Paul, KA6 Paul's Very Round, PVR, and he started it off with balloons. We got away from that and we started then to light candles, and then we went to letting the smoke go to the skies, as Paul put it. He did his little Indian ceremony, his Lakota Indian tribe ceremony that he did, and he is now one of the silent keys. So we will be honoring him as well as those others that he honored over the years. So with that, we'll go ahead and light the unity candle and we'll get started. This seat is reserved for that person who wants to come forward and say something about any of the silent keys that we'll pull, the scrolls that we'll pull out as we go here.
And who would like to pull the first scroll?
The first call is K6GBF, Gary.
Burn it and drop it in.
Anything, and wait before you burn it, Norma. Anybody, K6GBF, Gary, with comments to make on Gary that you'd like to make before this recording and during this little memorial at this time? Who knew Gary well? Anybody in the crowd?
Gary.
Gary, K6GBF.
S.A.? Drop it in the bowl.
Gary.
We commit that call to memory, K6GBF.
Just drop it in there.
And release to the sky. Pick a name.
We love it, tip it. Put it to the
Does anybody here know Tippy? Would you like to say something about Tippy up here? The chair's reserved for somebody who wants to talk about Tippy.
Tippy, too, was an amazing creature. She brought much comfort and brief periods of reprieve from people's pain and suffering in hospitals. Countless people, and also touched all of our lives here at Warfa. And as a fellow dog owner, I can only attest that she was one of the most, she was one of the greatest four-legged creatures I've ever known.
Therapy dog for some.
She was awesome.
#1.
She was
lots of honors.
She's featured on our website.
So in honor of Tippy, we release her smoke to the heavens.
And by the way, that photograph will remain there.
Yeah, absolutely.
This will go down.
You're not gonna burn me, I'm
Billy, since you made that,
Billy, want to pull the next?
since you made a presentation,
Okay, sure.
you get to make the next pull.
Absolutely.
Hey, Jim.
Kilowatt Alpha 6 Papa Victor Romeo, Paul. Who was a very, very good friend of mine, by the way. Crazy, unusual, loved him to death, and he brought a lot of laughter to our group. And some craziness.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned the fact that he talked about the gray line, those people who were involved in Vietnam and other places whose names will never be on a memorial anywhere. They were the forerunners of the CIA and others. And Paul and a few other people out here were members of that group and did some things to keep that freedom bell ringing loud over the years. He never talked about it until he ran into Williams, and the two of them out here started reliving old times, and it was just amazing to listen to those guys talk about the things they had to go through in the jungles in Southeast Asia. Who gave me the data? Was that you, Bill?
Yeah.
Would you like to give us a little bit more on that, please? Go ahead.
Very unusual situation, the letter that was dated 2002, May 17th. And it was a letter from Paul talking about the gray ghost and the gray line. And there was one other individual too that was that Moody did not mention, and that was Jim Crawford. And I think some of the old timers will remember Jim. And then of course Michael, I can't remember his call, William too. But this letter was very, very, very potent from the standpoint that he felt that there was so much courage within the group, the Gray Ghost, and he felt almost like that the Warfa group was the Gray Ghost. That was what the whole thrust of the letter was. He said, "Thank God for Warfa." And many of you might remember him from the standpoint that he would walk around and he had this artificial leg, and on it was little stars and stripes on it going down the leg there, and his caption, "Yes, I can walk on it too." Yeah. So that's the humor that Billy was talking about a while ago. He was a character.
Who won the